competition. Fighters Voice! The Fighters Voice.
I'm Bob Arum, and I'm with the Fighters Voice.
My name is Andre Ward.
Knocking out the competition. Fighters Voice! The Fighters Voice.
I'm Bob Arum, and I'm with the Fighters Voice.
Okay, Pete, testing 1, 2.
Fighters Voice! The Fighters Voice.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here with the Fighters Voice Knockout Podcast. We got a great show for you this evening. This evening, we're going to be talking about the pro debut of, I like to use this term, the son of a legend, because it's very well deserved. And at the same time, I mean, we're talking about a young man that has to grow up in a household of a fighting family, of not only dad, but brothers, and I even heard a sister have some hands too. You never know, just in case. It's just in the DNA. It's in the blood. We're also going to go over Manny Pacquiao, Ryan Garcia. Is this fact? Is this fiction? And then I'm even hearing rumor about Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. taking on Hector Camacho Jr. But enough said. I want to introduce our guest, and we'll start with Pops, who needs no introduction wherever he's at. This I know firsthand. I was actually at a Mikey Garcia boxing event in LA. And as soon as he walked in, heads were turning, cameras were burning, and money was making. It was being well earning. Ladies and gentlemen, ferocious Fernando Vargas. Welcome to the show, Fernando.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that.
And you know what? I want to introduce, too, your son who's making his own name and making his own style. And that's Amado Fernando Vargas. Welcome to the show.
Wait, don't mess it up. Amado el Malvado.
Amado el Malvado. Fernando Vargas. Okay, we got to make sure we get that. Thanks for the correction, man. I appreciate that. That's why you're here, my man. Yeah. We're going to start with, first with you, young man. I got to ask you, I mean,
Sure.
Going into your professional debut, you know, it had to be completely different from the amateurs. What did Pops do to get you ready for that walkout?
So, man, my dad, he was putting me to spar with a lot of different style fighters. We came to California to get some. My brother was actually getting ready. He was sparring Brian Garcia. I forgot his last name. Castaño. He's getting ready to defend, to fight for the WBC, WBO title. And my father's like, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for me, Amado, to come down and have camp out here. So my dad, he talked to Manny Robles, good friend of my dad's, and my dad started putting me with a lot of great fighters, and I had an amazing training camp, and it showed on fight night.
Talk to us about that walkout for the very first time as a professional.
When I walked in, I already kind of got the feeling when my big brother Fernando Vargas Jr. when he fought, so I kind of got the feel already, even though I wasn't fighting. I got the feel of like, okay, this is how it is, professional, you know, the whole walk-in and I was not nervous, surprisingly at all. I was really not nervous. And I told my little brother, like, I'm made for this shit. And the lights are bright. And, you know, my father, he created his legacy. And all three of me and my brothers, we're creating our own legacy now. We're just picking up my dad, he passed the baton, and now we're just running with it. We're all running with it, and it's an honor to come from a legendary, you know, it's an honor to come from my dad. You know, he's been doing this, and I'm really grateful to have my dad in my corner.
Fernando, when you hear your son say these words, without even being coached, without being prepped or anything, it just comes from his corazon and his knowledge for the game and the Vargas fighting family. How does that make you feel, not only as a father, but as a trainer? And you just got to be proud hearing those words.
I'm very proud, you know, very proud and humbled. You know what I mean? Living what I'm living through my kids' eyes is a beautiful thing. You know, when you never had a father, You know, I make a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. Don't think that I'm perfect because I'm not. But one thing is for sure that I will always be there for my kids, for my always be there for my babies every step of the way, regardless if they box or they don't fight. So, you know, I'm very proud of Amado. He's really stepped it up. You know, he's you know, he wouldn't really be too serious. And so I told him, Amado, this is something that you can do. Unless you want to get a job. I mean, if you want to get a job, that's fine too. I go, you want to go to school? I got the college paid for. Let's go. So, you know, I put him away money for that, but I told him like this, you know, he wants to start fighting. He has to make sure that he gives it his all. He can't be half stepping this because
It's a hurt business.
Because it's in the hurt business,
Yep.
and you know, they're gonna be gunning for him because you know, because of his last name, because of
Yep.
what his father's done, not what he's done, but what his father's done. So they're gonna be saying, "Oh, well, I beat Amado Fernando Vargas' son," and you know that at the end of the day, that's gonna be their, you know, claim to fame. So I told them that, you know, just stay focused and, you know, continue to work hard. And he started doing that. You know what I mean? He said, "I'm like, look, we're gonna be in camp. We're gonna go to California. If you want to come with me, my advice is to take you. You know, if you don't want to go, then I can't make you go. But my advice is for you to go because you're gonna get top-notch sparring with world championship fighters, and you know, the Southern California circuit is the best circuit. You know, we're with legendary fighters, Oscar. You know, just you know, myself from the Southern California area, my compa Robert Garcia, was from the Southern California area circuit. So we need that type of work where there's fights every weekend. In Vegas, unfortunately, we live in Vegas, but you know, there's no fights every weekend like you expect there to be. So, and then basically you're fighting everybody all over again. It's just as the same people. So, you know, Southern California has the best circuit for experience in the amateur world. And you know, Amado didn't have that, but you know, I told him you need to go to California so we can get that work.
Make
and,
sure we're sharp.
you know,
Yep.
we're make sure we're sharp and ready to go for your fight. And he
Yep.
agreed with me, and he came down, and it was the best thing he could ever done. He felt he gave his body everything that it needs. What does it need? It needs to not be out and about, to not be out BSing, for him to take care of his body. You know, hanging around with little girls and trying to cut up the wee hours of the morning. So he's done that,
You got to
and
give
now
this sport 100%. You got to.
you
You
got
know
to
what I
give the
mean?
sport 100%, and
If not, it
he
will
knows
show in
what it
that
is.
ring.
He knows what it is to go in there half of what he's supposed to do, and then like, you know, not giving his not being 100% clean to his body, and so what would end up happening? Get tired and get worked on sparring.
Yep.
So now he's doing it and living it correctly. You know, let the body be the medicine, the medicine be their food. You know what I mean? So, and they're doing amazing working. You know, and I'm very proud of them.
Amado, I got to ask you, what was that last conversation like? I mean, if you even remember before you put that switch on to walk outside. Well, because I know your dad was probably prepping you constantly before you make that walk out. What was something that really stuck in your head before your music dropped and you were getting ready to make that walk?
I just told my dad, Pops, you don't got to worry. The legacy continues. And I give my dad a kiss, and I give my brothers a kiss. And I just told him, I promise you, I know, like there's a God that
That's right.
everything that my father worked hard for, everybody, all eyes are on us. Can these Vargas boys really fight? Oh, it's just a last name. But you know, we're just showing little by little. Each time we fight, and that's what I told my dad and my brothers. I said, you know, the Vargas legacy continues, and I just told him I love him, and I put a hell of a performance that night. That's exactly what I did.
You know, I know you've been prepped since you were a child in the amateurs. What was that conversation like Was it, did you approach your dad, or did your dad approach you, or was it a team effort when he said, Dad, you know what, let's go ahead and make this decision and let's turn pro?
I told my dad, I feel like I'm ready to go. I picked up my experience in the amateurs. I've been ranked number 6 in the country at 114. I beat top people in the United States. When I went to the Olympic qualifiers, I made it to the and the last fight, I don't really the amateurs. I feel like I'm good. I'm already good to go. I have more of a pro style, and I just told my dad that I'm ready to go, and he said, "Okay, let's do it." So that's exactly what we did.
Being that said, was that decision made before your older brother, Fernando Jr. fought, or did he influence you even more by watching your older brother?
My older brother, man, just seeing my brother do what he fought, it just was like, damn, like I can't wait till I fight. And I just told my dad, I'm ready to go. He said, you got to don't tell me, show me. And that's exactly what I did. I showed my dad, and just being on it, giving my body rest, making sure I'm doing my part, being a champion outside of the ring, and because that's very important to the sport of boxing. If you live like a champion when you're in,
I think we kind of lost you there a little bit.
We lost him. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I don't know if your better or your earphones fully charged.
More fight, really take care of yourself.
It's horrible.
Amado, if you can hear me, I think it's the location where you're at. I don't know if you're driving actually right now, but the last minute you came up in and out, and I'd like if you can go ahead and answer that question again, if possible.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay, I think we lost him, but I think it was just the location, Fernando. I'm sure he's going to join us in any time.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, there you are.
Okay, so what was the question again?
I had asked, actually, those a couple questions. How long, what was that conversation like, to turn pro, and how much of an influence did your brother make after watching your brother turn pro? And that conversation you had with your dad when he said, Dad, I'm ready. And then he said, well, don't tell me, show me. And you said that's what you were doing. Yeah, I think he froze up again, but I'm sure he'll come back. Fernando, when you guys have that conversation, and you as a father, you're very protective.
My brother turned Fernando Vargas Jr.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Amado, whenever you're ready, buddy.
Go ahead. Am I good?
Oh, you're very good. Loud and clear, brother.
So you said, so definitely my brother, he did have an influence as well. Just seeing him be professional, it was just like, all right, we since the amateurs, we did everything together, so there was nothing different. And seeing my brother turn professional was like, all right, Dad, I'm ready to go. And my dad just told me, don't tell me, show me. And that's what we did. And I kept looking great, phenomenal in sparring. And my dad took me out here for training camp, and we're working with Tommy Loeffler, a great manager, and definitely got some big things coming ahead. We got that pro debut out the way, and man, I can't wait. I can't wait to keep fighting for my Rasta, for my people.
I hear that, and I know honestly you mean that. I could just tell your demeanor and your voice and your style of boxing. All that put aside, and I'm going to ask this question just like I asked your brother. Why the sport of boxing? Because you seem very athletic. Like you could have played football, you could have played soccer, you could have done anything you wanted in this world, because you have that DNA, you have that pedigree. I mean, you're just very athletic. What made you decide, hey, I'm going to go the direction of my father?
I decided to turn pro and, go this route in my life because, man, I feel like I'm good at this sport, and not only that, just everything just it makes sense. And I would never do something if my father were to force me or do anything like that. My dad has never reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Amado, once again, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty.
Your father.
No, go ahead, brother. We're waiting on you. We got you.
Go ahead.
Are we good? We're good.
Oh, we're good. Take your time, brother.
There's a lot of different dads that try to force their children to do it because they try to live their dreams to their kids.
Yeah, they do.
Now my dad already lived his dream. That's what he tells me. I already lived my dream, son. So if you want to do this, you could do it. And I'm plugged with all the people that you need to do to be great and to do what you need to do to accomplish. So, you know, I'm blessed to have a father that's been there, done that. He has great connections in the sport of boxing, from sparring to promoters to different people. And it only makes sense. You know,
You guys need to stop. You need to park for a little bit. That way you guys you can finish this interview because it keeps on cutting out. So once you know you start going back and start talking, it starts working, stop the car. I'll tell you when. But right now it's not working.
Fernando, I'm going to ask you the question. I mean, you know your son better than anybody in this world. I mean, you and your wife. And you knew he was athletic. You know he could be a football player, a baseball player.
That's a Vargas gene, bro.
A
Me as
swimmer.
a kid, I was good at school, not. But I was PE. Don't get me wrong. I got okay grades, and I didn't get out passing. I was the first to ever graduate from high school out of my immediate family. So, so that being said, I was very athletic as a kid. I was very athletic, and you know, if anything, I did good with sports. I was good at football. I was good at basketball. But you know, if I'm boxing, my life changed. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I know I'll be great at it. And so, you know, Amado's always had that. Him and his brothers has always had that athleticism. Junior used to play football. Pop Warner, him too. And if they didn't make 3 touchdowns a game each, it wasn't a game. So it's that athleticism, that Vargas blood that we have. You know what I mean? So that being said, I think he's back on. So go ahead, Amado.
So I'm back. I'm sorry. There's we were driving. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we're good.
Not a problem. We're here for you, man. Take your time. We'll make sure that we get it right. Go ahead and flip your camera on, brother. We got you.
Let me see. Okay. What was the question? What was the question you were asking me?
No, I asked you earlier. You know, the transition from, you know, playing other sports. Why the sport of boxing?
Like I was saying, that I'm blessed. My father, you know, he knows he has a lot of different connections in the sport of boxing, from sparring to promoters to different stuff like that. So it makes my job a little bit more easier. My father did the hard part, and definitely I still got to bust my ass off as well. But I'm just blessed that my father knows different people, and I get tremendous sparring from you know, I sparred Gervonta Davis, to Ramirez, to Kurt Stevenson. The list goes on. And
that's the experience.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to work with top fighters in the sport of boxing. And man, it's only making me better.
Don't drive no more. Stay like that. Don't drive.
Okay.
I'm going to go through some fans and some supporters and even some familia, Fernando, that have left some questions for you guys, and just they want you to know that they're in your corner. Well, we'll start with Pita Garcia. He says, congratulations on the 2 victories, Fernando. Both your boys, both your kids are doing a great job. That's from the son of Robert Garcia. They're at Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Pita. And, the Garcias to me are family,
Yep.
I love my Jefes, Garcia. He raised me from the age of 12 years of age, and I'll never forget that. So thank you for that. I'm trying to be like your pops. I don't need his 3. He has like 15 world champions that he's made. I don't need his 3.
And that's my Nino. That's my Nino.
Yeah, and that's Amado's Nino, which is Robert Garcia, my compadre. He baptized Amado, so that's his padrino. And so all I need is 3: Junior, Amado, and El General. So my compa Robert Garcia has 15, 16, 17, maybe 20 world champions by now. But all I need is 3. So thank you, Pita. Appreciate it.
Much love, Pita.
I continue to talk to Garcia for advice on boxing. I talked to my compa Robert too. We called him before he fought, before Amado fought. We called him to to first and foremost wish him birthday, because it was his birthday on the 29th. Yeah. And so I just also called him to say a few words to Amado. And what did he tell you, Amado?
He told me, listen to your father and you'll go a long way. And he just told me, I love you, and just keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. The Garcias are proud of you.
Awesome.
Beautiful words right there. Beautiful words. Now this next one is coming from former world champion Regis Prograis. He says, congratulations to the Vargas family, both father and son. Great accomplishment.
Thank you, Todd. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
I like him. He's a good fighter. I appreciate you. He's a champion, and I know what it is. The losing weight and doing all that. It's nothing but respect, and I like him. He's a great fighter. Much love and respect to him.
And Coach Manny, this is from both of you. Coach Manny Robles, keep up the good work, young man. Keep up the good work, young man. And that's for you too, Fernando, meaning young man.
Manny Robles is such a cool dude. I respect him so much. I look up to him as a trainer. I pick his brain. I talk to him all the time. So he's such a good dude. I have nothing but respect and love and admiration for him, and all that he's done. Because he made the first ever Mexican heavyweight champion in the world, and Andy Ruiz, and so my hats off to him. Yep. And he's an amazing trainer, and I see that, and I record him all the time doing mitts because I want to learn, and I want to continue to learn. The day you learn, you stop thinking the day you think that you know everything in this sport is the day you go down south. So I know that you got to continue to be teachable and always think of learning from everybody, and that's what I've done.
You're exactly right, and he's also a very nice guy and a boxing historian. We've had him on the show, and nothing's going to get by him. I mean, he is just a sponge, and he'll tell you first of all, foremost, as you know, Fernando, he continues to learn and continue to grow in this sport.
Absolutely.
Manny Robles is awesome, man. Much love to him. We were training there at his gym now, and he sees us like every single day. So much love to you, Manny Robles.
That's right. And okay, this is from Robert Garcia. Please tell him all the Garcia family are very, very proud of him. Of both of you.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Like I said, me and Robert, when my mom kicked me out the house, I was 18, 17 maybe. And, my mom said, get out. She said, you'll be back. I said, I'll never be back. And so when she kicked me out the house, I told Garcia. Garcia said, come and stay with me. and me and Robert slept in the same bed. So me and Robert were like brothers, and I love Robert a lot. He's a good man. He's my compadre. He's my compa. So, I love the Garcia family.
Beautiful people.
Beautiful people, amazing people, and so it will always be that way.
There you go. Well, I can tell you this right now. They love you and they support you, because this next one's from Mikey Garcia. He says,
Wow.
Congratulations on both boys in their victories. And now here's one for you, Fernando. And no, Amado. Are you boys going to have crazy ring walks with lions and tigers too?
I don't know. That's a little bit too. I got two things for that. No, I don't think I'm going to do the bangs. You got to pay me to do the bangs. And I don't know.
He got his own style.
I got my. We all do. My dad passed a few things. The Vargas swag. Everybody got our own little. Our own little swag. Yep. We all got our own little drip. But yeah, for the Tiger,
right.
Tiger, I don't know. I don't know about the Tiger. I don't know about that one.
Man, you never know. This dude is crazy. He be wanting to. You never know. I don't know, Mikey. I think he might want to do it. He's crazy like that too. Es porque está prieto el cabrón.
A huevo.
I mean, to know you got a 4-division world champion in your corner that watches you both and supports you guys. I mean, man, that got to make you feel really special.
Mikey Garcia, man, he's one of the best fighters of all time. And
yes, sir.
When I always say the story, and I don't know everybody's tired of hearing it, but I always say the story when I talk about Mikey Garcia, is that when I was a kid, Garcia would give me, my Khetphet, Senor Garcia would give me a ride from his house. So I would have to walk. Before, I used to walk 3 miles as a 12-year-old kid to get to the boxing gym, and it took me an hour to do so, and I was going to do it anyways. It doesn't matter. I love boxing that much. I was going to be there. But one day he saw me walking down, I think it was Rose and Rose Boulevard, Rose Road, I think, Rose Boulevard, I think it's. And so he saw me walking down Rose. He goes, and it was late. It was late already. It was already, when it's late, early, like 5 o'clock, it's already nighttime. So I'm walking home, and he goes, Fernando, where you going? And then he stops. He pulls over to go to my house. He goes, where do you live? He goes, in back of China High School. He goes, and you come walking every day? I go, like, absolutely. And he goes, look, I'm gonna give you a ride. Get in. And he goes, I got in his van, and then he gave me a ride first. He goes, first I'm gonna take you to my house. So you know where I live? I live on China Boulevard, which is, close to your house. And so, when he took me to the house, he took me to his house, and then I walked, and then he drove me to my house, and then he said to me, you can come to my house, and I'll take you from there. I was in heaven. I don't know, like a 15-minute walk instead of an hour walk, then 15 minutes. Let's go. All day, every day. So, he kept on giving me rides, and then I met Mikey there. So I met Mikey there, and Mikey used to be in Pampers. And I used to come into the house with my bag, my little red bag, and I was a snot-nosed kid, and I'd be like, Mikey, ¿vas a boxear? Mikey, you're gonna box? I said, Mikey, ¿no te gusta el box? Mike, you don't like boxing? And look at him now.
Exactly.
Look at him now. One of the best fighters of all time.
Pound for pound.
Absolutely. I agree with you. This is coming in from Coach Stokes. He says, Fernando, I want to know the focus of your son in becoming a world champion. And this is a question for both father and son. Is that your focus, to someday become a world champion? To have your son become a world champion?
Well, I think that you don't get into the game first. I don't think you get into the game to not become world champion. So, yep. I mean, if you're not in the game to become world champion, you shouldn't be in the game. There's a lot of fighters that are bums that just want to get a paycheck and get whooped. I don't know about you, but I couldn't be that way. So, if you're not in there to be world champion, then what are you in there for?
Amado, what's your take on
my
that?
dad just answered the question for me. My dad answered the question. I want to be not one, not twice, but however much I feel, or however much my body and the sport will take me. But I'm gonna put God first, and I'm gonna let Him do the rest.
Amen, brother. I mean, that's the correct way, man. Absolutely. Hey, I'll give you amen on that. Fernando, what are your expectations for yourself as a trainer for your son?
Well, for my son Amado's, to get him the best way possible, and to, I said this to my 3 sons. I said, if I see you're getting hurt each round and you're getting whooped, you're getting knocked down, and it looks like there's no, there's really no point. You're just taking a beating. I'm gonna stop it. You're my son. I'm not gonna let you take unnecessary punishment. I'm not. You can be mad at me. I don't care, but I'd rather you be mad at me than be 6 feet under, because or be brain dead. No, man. We love the sport, but the most dangerous sport in the world is the best sport in the world, but the most dangerous sport in the world. And we're playing with our lives here. So, I tell them like this: if anything happens in a fight where I see it's not looking good for you, and you're getting whooped 6, 7, 8 rounds, and it's looking bad, and you're going down, and it doesn't look like you're doing any good, I'm gonna stop it, because you're my son. You're my son first, before I'm your trainer. You're my son first before you're a fighter. You're my son first.
Amado, here's a difficult question, but only you can answer it.
Okay.
Do you see the transformation from father, like, hey, we're on the way to the gym, and then when father puts on that trainer's hat, can you see 2 different people?
It's just nothing but love and respect for my dad. Our bond is so tight that, I wouldn't want to be in this sport without my dad. And being in camp, waking up every morning and doing this doesn't even feel like a job. It feels like it feels so good, being able to. I'm blessed to have a father that been there, and just he knows what I go through as a fighter. So it's just, and having brothers that are doing the same thing, it's like God is amazing, man, and I'm really, really blessed. I'm just so thankful for it all.
I'm gonna give you this opportunity, Amado, and it's up to you. A lot of young men your age, they may shy away from putting God first, or saying, because of God, I'm here. But I've heard you talk several times, because I follow you on Instagram, and I love watching your sparring. I do, and in the music that you have as well. I mean, you're 100%. I told your dad the first time I met him, I mean, beans, rice, and Jesus Christ all day. And you kept that, and you let everybody know that you're a believer of Jesus Christ, man. I appreciate that.
Look, man, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not perfect at all. But I do believe in God, and I have a every Sunday. All I know is He helps me when I need Him, and He gives me comfort when I'm going through battle. And that's something my father, if he showed me anything, that's what he showed me, was putting God first and have a relationship with Him.
There you go, man. I mean, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to hear that from such a young man that's not ashamed of the gospel. Fernando Senior, I gotta ask you this, man. I mean, there's talks of Manny Pacquiao, who's a living legend. I mean, everybody wants a shot at Manny. Of young Ryan Garcia getting the opportunity, and you made it clear that it's not going to be an exhibition, that he's putting everything on the line. When he says that, meaning his record. Do you think that fight is going to take place? And 2, how do you see it going down, and how long will it last?
I think that Ryan Garcia is still, developing as a fighter, and He don't get me wrong, he's very good. He's very talented young man. But you're stepping in with a damn beast. You're stepping in with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, just has all the experience in the world from championship fights and being on the big stage, and so he knows what it is to be on there. So um, I think it's a little too early. It reminds me around about my fight with Trinidad, and so I hope that if he does take it and he is gonna do it, that he doesn't get hurt. That's all I want that I wish for in the fight.
If you were in Ryan's corner and he's getting ready to make that walkout against Manny Pacquiao, what words would you give him before he makes that walkout?
Well, man, just look. The fight is done, so you got to be in there. Keep your hands up. Be very, careful with them. I mean, throwing your punches. You got to touch your temples. You got to be ready to move your head after every combination, and keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Don't leave your hands down for 1 second.
I got to ask you this. There's a question coming in. Fernando, it's very clear that you are the coach and the trainer and the father of your three boys. Is there room for you to train any other professional fighters? These are questions coming in right now.
Not really.
And if so, what are you looking for?
Well, look, I had some fighters, but I really feel that I'm a man of God, and if anything, I brought my family to the Lord. I brought Amado to the Lord. I brought Junior to the Lord. I brought Emiliano to the Lord because I know what he did for me. So it's very important to show that to your kids. So that being said, I feel that this fight, is a fight that. Wait, I forgot what the question. What was it?
If you would consider training any other fighters besides your boys, because there's a lot of interest in wanting you to train them now.
Well, I've worked with some other fighters, but I really feel, like I said, I'm a man of God. That God took away all the people that I was trying to work with, that wanted me to work with them. Took them away so I could focus on my babies, on my kids. It's like I felt like God said, "What are you doing? You have your champions in your house. You don't gotta go nowhere. You don't gotta go look here, look there. So the champions you have are right here at the house. Don't worry about it." So whatever it was that these other fighters did, that pissed me off, that I said I'm done. So God, I really feel that was directed by God, because that way I can focus on my boys, and that's what I've been doing, and I really think that it's something that can that really is gonna be big for us in the mighty name of Jesus. They're all very talented. They got that from their father, the bloodline. And I think that they got a great opportunity to do big things, and so I'm gonna be there every step of the way. God's gonna be there every step of the way, and they're gonna be with us. So God's gonna be with us. So I'm happy about that.
Very well said. Amado, I want to ask you, besides your father, besides your brothers, what fighter out there in the circuit do you watch and says, you know what, I'm kind of digging what he's doing, that also is an influence on your life and in your boxing career?
I like Teofimo Lopez. I like how him and his dad work. I like different fighters like from Terence Crawford. I like watching different style of fighting, like Mayweather. The way he boxes, that you can't try to come forward. You can't be a brawler. You got to be smart in this game. It's hit and not get hit. A lot of people get mad because Floyd outboxes everybody, and it's not about. I mean, yeah, of course the knockouts are great. I like Canelo too. The way he knocks people out, but you got to know how to box in this sport, and that's something my dad tells me. You got it, son. You can't just come forward. If a person that just comes forward will lose because he gets outboxed. and that's something as well. When I was, I had less than 10 fights as an amateur. I was a novice fighter, and once I came to the open class fight, like when I became open, I started fighting top fighters that have over like 60 fights, 70 fights, and they would outbox me, and I would rely on my power when I had less than 10 fights, and because I was hurting kids and stopping them, and I was like, I can't hit these dudes because they're outboxing me. So that's the same thing, you gotta
Stop driving. Stop
look
driving.
at different fighters, and I try to
Amado, are you in the back seat or are you actually driving the car?
No, he's in the back seat.
Oh, okay. You getting some chauffeur action,
I'm
my
in
man.
no, I'm in the back seat. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, but just pull over. Why you
Yeah,
driving?
yeah.
Pull over.
Okay, I'm gonna tell him right now.
So, Fernando, it's very hard to trust another man with your son. It really is. And there's been talks, father-son relationships. A lot of times they work, sometimes they don't work. But from where I'm standing, I can see right from the gate that this is working. I want to ask you, why does this relationship work for you and your kids?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you that it's always peaches and creams and flowers and dandelions, but at the end of the day, I have to understand that I can't shield them from everything. So I gotta let them make mistakes so they can understand that what I'm telling them is the truth. To take care of themselves, to not be out to the wee hours of the morning, to not be drinking, to watch themselves when you're being with women, and because at the end of the day, you're gonna be able to see whether I'm lying or not, telling the truth or not. If you listen to me and I tell you, of course you're gonna be with women, of course you're gonna be with females. That's a given, but do it when you're not gonna spar. Do it when you have a day or two to rest. Do it when soberly. Don't do it drinking. You know what I mean? Don't do it stuff like that, because all that stuff messes you up as a fighter. It messes up your timing. It messes up your speed. It messes up your functions, everything. So, I also need to continue to try to let them learn that way, because my kids are not little kids no more. I'm not gonna jack them up. I'm not, unless it really is needed. Now, don't get it twisted. I will put hands on them, because the Bible says, "Spare the rod and you spoil the child." But it also says, the mother, one of the 10 commandments says, "Honor thy mother and thy father." So, being young pops, I never had an example to tell you but Garcia, which was a great example, but he wasn't there with me every day, every step of the day, every step, every night, every day. So, I try my best, and I feel that I gotta also let them learn the hard way. I can't be jumping on them, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I'm learning this as a father and as a coach myself, that, okay, you don't want to listen to me. So the repercussions of your actions are going to show in the ring. And you think that these guys are easy. They're not. We're sparring with championship dudes. And so at the end of the day, they might knock you down. And you'll be like, well, I wonder why that happened. Maybe you're not listening. Maybe you're, wanting to do things your way when I'm trying to.
That ring will not lie to you.
You're not reinventing the wheel. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm telling you what stuff you need to do is take care of yourself a month before you're gonna fight. Do not be with no women for a month.
Don't even look at a woman. Don't even scroll on.
And then like when they want to argue with me, okay, and then they end up sparring and looking horrible when they're out there the night before a woman. I'm going, what did I tell you? Oh damn, Dad, you're right.
That ring will not lie to you.
But you know, at the end of the day, I'm proud of my boys, all three of them. You know, even if they didn't want to fight, I'd still be proud of them because, you know, a lot of these kids now are tied up in drugs and are drug addicts and in jail, in and out. I thank God for covering over my sons and over my daughter too, for them being on the right. You know, they're not on the right. They're on the right road, not on the, you know, we're being idiots and going to parties and getting locked up and getting drunk and getting DUIs, stuff like that. So God is good. I'm proud of them.
I want to ask you about another possible matchup. Rumor has it, that Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. is going to share the ring with Hector Macho Camacho Jr. That's possibly going to take place in June in Mexico. Hearing this news, Fernando, one, is it the first time that you've heard these two names possibly sharing the ring? And what's your take if, in fact, it does take place and I'm hearing it's going to be without headgear?
Chavez, one thing about Chavez, my idol, he has a granite chin. I think he's only been down once. If I recall my career in his whole career. Now, and his power doesn't go nowhere. Like when I'm with my kids and I'm like, and I start throwing punches and like for whatever reason, like, they feel the weight of the punches. Now, Chavez is a killer. You know, and he will always be that. He doesn't drink no more. He doesn't do drugs no more. He lives a sober life. I don't know about Macho Camacho Jr. I know from the amateurs. I know that he doesn't take care of himself. But, you know, hey, power never goes away. I'll tell you that much.
I agree with you. And not to bring any correction on you, champ, he actually tastes the canvas twice, once against Garcia Zoo.
Okay, yeah, okay. It was not more than twice. Though.
No, hey, okay. You better take a picture of that because it's rare that he ever gets near the canvas.
Thank you.
And, the rest is historical. I just wanted your take on that. Amado, if you were a matchmaker, which means it's a different type of hat that you're wearing, what fight would you put together that needs to be made? That somehow right now it can't be made for whatever reason, but now you're the promoter and you're the matchmaker. What dream fight would you put together in this era? What two fighters would you have share the ring?
Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence.
At what weight?
Yeah, that would be great. That would be a good weight. That'll be a good weight. I think. What is Errol fight at?
At 147, right? Yes.
And Terence fighting at what is he fighting at?
At 147
too.
Yes.
So that would be great. I think that would be a hell of a fight. Because they're two great fighters.
How do you see that fight ending? How do you see that fight when they share the ring?
Man. I got Terence Crawford.
By a decision, stoppage, or just?
By decision. Yeah.
Pops, I got to ask your expertise as well. How do you see this fight taking place if, in fact, it does get signed for the fans, for longevity, and for history? How do you see this fight?
What fight was that? Errol Spence and
Terence Crawford.
Man. Terence Crawford is a beast, man. Terence Crawford is an animal. He was southpaw and orthodox. So, man. And he's going to be at 47, or what would it be at?
Well, they're at 147, but Errol Spence has been hinting moving up to 154s.
But but what weight would it be at 47?
At 147s at welterweight.
Oh yeah, I think Crawford. Crawford is just a complete fighter. He just could do southpaw, orthodox. He's intelligent. He knows how to box. He knows everything. And Errol Spence is a southpaw. Yeah, he puts pressure, but I don't think. I just know that Crawford can switch like stance. So he's like reminds me. Emiliano reminds me so much of him because Emiliano does both stance each time wherever he feels. Let me see how this guy is working. This guy's not, my benefits is not getting there yet. So let me turn southpaw and then it's a totally different thing. Goes, okay, you'll fight the whole fight southpaw, whoop the guy. So I feel that Crawford is just too versatile. He has too much in his game plan. And they fight, and the way he fights is just ridiculous.
I got a lot of questions coming in. I'm not going to get to all of them, but I got to ask you this one, Fernando, because this guy's blowing me up like 5 different times. It's coming from Steven Gallegos in Clovis, California. What fighter today reminds you of ferocious Fernando Vargas?
You know what reminds me of me a little bit? Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is
I like him too. Yeah.
He's a savage. He likes to go out there and whoop those fools and get them out of there. And he has that that little bit of that anger there. Let's go punk. You know what I mean? So I think it reminds me of me a little bit. It does.
Amado, I got to ask you one more time, man. I'm gonna give you another hat to wear.
Okay.
Your dad in his prime. Who do you put him in the ring with today? What great today do you put your dad in his prime in the ring with?
Easy. Canelo Alvarez. And
Talk
I got my
about a
dad
freaking
winning.
war.
I got my dad winning. I'm not just saying that because that's my dad, but just the ferocious.
Before Trinidad, I think I honestly feel I could beat him, but after Trinidad, it would have been a tough fight for me. But
I would love to see that fight.
Yeah.
Fernando, you're in your prime. How do you fight that fight? First round. What's your game plan?
Well,
you know Canelo's style already.
Well, Canelo's a stinker too. So he boxes, and I'm gonna box too, and I'm gonna box and punch too. So Canelo's a thinker, and so was I as a boxer puncher. Now, I beat 5 world champions. Yo le puedo campo, Raul Marquez, Wiki Wright, Acuarte, Africa Seco. And the four that beat me didn't say walk away saying it was easy. Maybe I said that 154 too long. But I feel that, before Trinidad, I would have been an amazing fight. I think it would have, because I boxed too. Look at my fight with Acuarte. Look at my fight with Raul Marquez.
That jab. Neutralize his jab. I remember that fight.
Look at my movements. And the Raul Marquez and my pivots with my Raul Marquez, and with like Corte by boxing, IQ in that fight. So I think that would have been even if I fought with Raul Marquez, I would box and I punch. So all those fights I think they would have been great before my fight with Trinidad.
Fernando, last time you were on the show, I didn't get you addressed. I completely forgot. And Amado, I watch you do it in sparring. I watch you do it when you're hitting the mitts. I mean, your dad just had this patented move, man, where a fighter would have his hands up, and with either it was his left or sometimes even his right, he'll touch you, but he would bring his opponent's hand down in that right hand. I mean, it was just.
He would pull the glove down.
Started before Mike Tyson's, so I saw your dad do it before Mike Tyson did it.
Yeah, my dad. A lot of people say Lomachenko did you pulled the glove down, but I haven't seen a fighter do that than my pops. I mean, I don't know. My dad, that was that. I love when my dad pulled the glove down. That was my favorite.
Whether he invented it or got it or not, he sure in the hell perfected it. I will say that. Fernando, that was deep in in your pedigree and your onslaught against people, man, and you smile now because you just knew you had it like that. That was just one of those moves, like almost like when Pernell Whitaker would try to backhand somebody, but you would purposely pull the glove down and then just pop them, man.
So I'll tell you who taught me that. Garcia. El señor Eduardo, que es my jefe, el señor Eduardo Garcia. And you know what he said? If you do this, people are going to start mimicking what you do. So he taught me, when a fighter's has his hands up, you put down the glove, boom, boom, or boom, ah. You know what I mean? And so he goes, that's how you, and he taught me that. And I did that against Ross Thompson, against Corte, against Shibata Flores. So anytime they had their hands up, I would put the gloves down. And so when they say that Lomachenko invented it, homie, you don't know shit about boxing.
Hey, those are the words of the late great trainer, man, Roger Mayweather. And you know, Fernando, you did perfect that. You really did. And coming from a teacher as Mr. Garcia, who someday soon, and I will say this, and I'm telling you something that you already know, but he needs to have a shrine, a statue, something, man, because of him, the legacy continues.
Absolutely.
I mean, and believe, and you know what? It's long overdue.
And you know
it really
what?
is.
You know, I almost cried when I told him, Garcia, I'm gonna break, Khetphet. I call him Khetphet, which is their pops, right? Khetphet, le voy a romper el récord de usted. He dice, ¿cómo, Fernando? He goes, and I'd be like, voy a calarme a ver si puedo hacer mis tres hijos campeones mundiales. Usted hizo a Mikey y a Robbie. Y digo, Fernando, no me vas a ganar. Digo, ¿por qué? Me vas a empatar. Oh, man. You know, you're not gonna beat me. You're gonna tie. It's gonna be tied. You're gonna time. It's gonna be even. Oh man, I almost started crying like a baby.
Hey, what did 50 Cent say? Or die trying, right?
Don't die trying.
Absolutely. Well, Amado, I want to appreciate you taking the time. I mean, especially right after your victory. But I got to ask you. I got to squeeze this question in, man, because I really didn't talk too much about your fight. I saw the right hand. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. Other people have came to me about the second right hand. I didn't talk to different people about that. And what I said was that was in the middle of a combination, and a combination in the momentum. You had no idea he was coming down.
Yeah.
It's your job to let your hands go until what? Until the referee controls the action or gets in the middle of the action. I saw your hands go. You come from a family. I've never seen you hit at the break. I see the way you walk the line, so to speak. That's not your intention. That's not who you are. It was simply the heat of the moment.
I would never do that.
And your momentum.
Exactly. I would never try to hit somebody in the back of the head because you could get really hurt through that. And, you know, it's a hurt business. But I told him, I grabbed him after. I said, I love you, brother. And I appreciate you for sharing the ring with me. And it's nothing but respect to you, you know?
Absolutely. See, these are the questions that maybe some other people wouldn't ask. But I'm going to ask because, I mean, it's up to you to go ahead and tell the world and explain. Because a lot of people just saw that video, and they were hitting me up on my page. And believe me, I did defend you, and then I found myself just defending every knucklehead who don't know the sweet science of boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, being that said, I got to ask you, what did you get out of your performance? What did you learn? And when can we see you back in the ring?
The gloves are smaller. No headgear. I could see better. And stay tuned. The Vargas legacy continues.
Fernando, I saw you right after the fight, man, and you were like a kid in a candy store. I saw all your corazón. I saw all your happiness. Your smile was bigger, even bigger than when you won the world titles. And I share that with you. I send you a text as well. It reminded me of a certain picture of me and my son. What did you get out of that performance? As a trainer, not a father, but as a trainer?
As a trainer, I got out of it satisfaction that, you know, my job was done correctly, that, you know, people are stupid. You know, most of the people are stupid when they don't, like Roger Mayweather says, they don't know shit about boxing. So when you are barely beginning, you build your record with bums. Understand that. And I want everybody to understand that that's not something that you don't do. That's exactly what the world of boxing does. You build your record with bums till you start getting up there 5, 10, 11, 12 fights. Then we go a little harder, 13. Then we go for some ranked fighters. Then we go for the world title. It's all a process. You guys don't. I hate it because, like, Roger Mayweather's words hold true. Most people don't know shit about boxing. Just shut up.
Well, but it's okay though. That's how the fight fans are.
We're gonna fight bums because that's what you have to fight to build the record. Until you go little by little till you get to the top ranked fighters. And then when you start fighting the top ranked fighters, it starts getting harder. And then you're going for the world title shot. Come on, you guys are idiots, man. If you don't know nothing about boxing, don't say nothing. Don't even open your mouth. It's ridiculous. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground, so just don't say nothing because by you opening your mouth, it removes all doubt that you know nothing about boxing.
I agree with you 100%. A lot of times people that open their mouth, all they do is expose their nonsense and their ignorance for the sweet science of boxing. It is a process. It's not a race. It's a marathon, and it is a business. And it's your job, Fernando, not only as a father, not only as a trainer, not only as a matchmaker, because you wear a lot of hats, not just that bandana that you have on, to look out for your son's best interest 24/7. Now, if you fail, you got to answer to one person, and that's Jesus Christ. So yes. He appointed you to do so, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you. You know, it's like, what do you expect? Them to fight a freaking, somebody's going to give them, no. This is to build the records later on. And, you know, when we start getting into the mode of the boxing, the professional boxing world, then little by little, I'm not going to jump into big fights with these kids. I'm not. So if you are like, well, look at the guy they put up. Yeah. And guess what? If I can find the one worse, I'm gonna. So understand that. You guys don't know nothing about boxing, but you guys don't even open your mouth. You don't know that. That's the way you build a fighter. Little by little.
Exactly. Very well said by a former world champion who's still the champion of the Fernando Vargas household, along with his sons, his wife, and his daughters. Fernando, it's always a pleasure. You know, I compare you to Mikey Garcia because nothing but honesty comes out of your mouth and nothing but true experience. I've been there, done that, as if to say. You're not just saying, okay, well, I think it's this way. It might be this way. You know both the good and bad, and the good, bad, and the ugly, so to speak, inside of that boxing ring. Amado, you're very blessed as a young man when the Lord filled your cup with the talent. But he also put somebody in your path to shape you and mold you, and it's his responsibility not just to bring you up as a prize fighter, but to bring you up as a young man. And you're very fortunate to live in a Christian home and have all the attributes to be worldwide, to be possibly famous, to be possibly a legend. All the possibilities in the world, and I'm sure your dad has told you before, and you're old enough to know this, that nobody can tell you any different. Nobody can say, no, you cannot do that. No, I don't believe that you can. As long as you believe, you will receive in the name of Jesus. So take those words and just run with it, and sky's the limit with you, your father as a trainer, and your brothers, because I truly believe in that Vargas home, iron sharpens iron.
That's right. Well,
if you guys have anything for me, man, our time is up, but I want to let you know tomorrow we're going to have a great show. We have with us one of the best cut man in the business, Mr. Rodriguez, Mike Rodriguez. And along, he's going to be hosting the show. We're going to have Mr. the Breadman Edwards also on the show. Stefan is going to be on the show. And we're going to talk about the importance of having a great cut man. That time that you may be cut or be struggling, a cut man has to have your whole entire life into his hands. Whether he repairs that cut, nurtures that cut, it does everything that needs to be done. If you ever run into that roadblock, your dad can tell you he's fought with a swollen eye. He's fought in a handicap position and had to not only make the transition, but also had a great cut man in his corner.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys tune in. And Amado, do you have anything for the Fighter's Voice? Any last words?
Thank you guys for tuning in. Team Vargas. Vargas para rato, cabrones.
I was going to ask you about that. Fernando, you guys got to trademark that, man. I got to see that on some shirts.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely do shirts. But Amado, El Malvado, Fernando Vargas. So just be ready to continue to hear that name in the mighty name of Jesus.
That's right. As soon as this COVID lifts, Fernando, I got to have you both in studio. I mean, I appreciate Zoom. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. But there's nothing like having you guys inside studio. We'll make that happen soon. Or if not, I'll tell you the same thing that we told Robert Garcia. I said, Robert, if you can't come to Fresno, the Fighter's Voice will go to you, and we'll shoot the podcast inside of your gym in Las Vegas. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, right now, my gym is closed because of COVID. So, but and then there was a piping issue that it flooded the gym and messed with the whole concrete and everything. So we're trying to get that fixed and done up. So if not, we'll set something up for sure.
It sounds good, man. Hey, please keep me posted. Please keep me tuned in, man, because I can't wait to see these boys back in action. And then we're going to talk about your younger boy, man, who's just, slick as can be. And I see different strengths in all these different kids, man. And it's just, you're smiling because you're like a kid in a candy store. God blessed you, Fernando, but he put a little more in these kids' cups, man, as far as that raw talent.
Absolutely. It's like, and it hits different when you never had a father. So when you're
believe me, I know, brother.
When I was a kid, and I was winning these tournaments, I said, man, I'm bad. And I said that to him. I know I'm bad, but I never had anything to identify who I got it from. Because my dad was a drug addict and murder and prison and all that was more important than me. So me living this through my kids' eyes and seeing my kids do what their father did, and really I didn't want them to fight. But, my compadre said it best. He said, how are you going to tell your kids they can't be like their daddy? True. So, me living this through my kids' eyes is amazing. It's beautiful, to even like think and see and wish that was my dad, because I'm living it through their eyes, and I'm seeing them see that their father's there. So I'm thinking like if I'm them, I'm seeing Javier right there, telling me what to do as a trainer, do this, and they're holding on to every word that's coming out of my mouth. So to me, this is an amazing moment for me. Have I been the most perfect parent? No. I never had a teacher, but I try my best every day to be the best father I never had. Do I make a lot of mistakes? A lot. But I'll never stop trying to be in my kids' lives, because, I didn't have that. And I'll never stop being a father, because then my kids are gonna know that I'm present every day, or I'm a phone call away. It doesn't matter. Me and my wife have been together for 26 years this year.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so, it's not me, it's her. God gave me a great woman.
There you go, man.
So I'm grateful, that she put up with me because I'm definitely, definitely not somebody that she should have been putting up with. But I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for God putting her in my life, and I'm grateful for my family.
Right on. Those are very strong words, very beautiful words, and I'm gonna leave it there with those special words. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you tuning in, and also you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap with the Vargas family. Thumbs up for Rishi.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.